Ambassador Elena Vasquez looked out of the shuttle window at the massive space station ahead. The Galactic Council's headquarters was bigger than any city on Earth. Its metal walls stretched for kilometers in every direction, covered in lights and docking bays. Ships from dozens of different worlds moved around it like busy insects. Elena adjusted her dark blue uniform and checked her data tablet one more time. Behind her, the other human representatives sat quietly. Dr. James Park, the science advisor, was reading through technical documents. General Sarah Martinez reviewed security reports. Trade Minister Chen Wei organized economic data on his tablet screen. "Remember," Elena said to her team, "we're here to build partnerships, not to bow down to anyone." The shuttle docked with a soft bump. Through the airlock came the sound of alien voices and the hum of strange machinery. The station's air smelled different, metallic and sharp, with hints of chemicals Elena couldn't identify. Their escort was a tall, blue-skinned alien with 4 arms and large black eyes. It spoke through a translation device that made its voice sound flat and emotionless. "Follow me to the council chamber. Do not touch anything. Do not speak unless spoken to." Elena and her team walked through corridors filled with aliens of every shape and size. Some looked like giant insects with shiny shells. Others were covered in fur or scales. A few seemed to be made of living rock or metal. None of them paid attention to the humans. The council chamber was enormous. 12 massive seats arranged in a circle dominated the room. Each seat was designed for a different type of alien body. In the center was a small platform where the humans were directed to stand. The council members filed in slowly. Elena recognized them from her briefing materials. The Zephyrians were the most powerful, tall insect-like beings with golden shells and multiple eyes. Their leader, Prime Speaker Kex Value, made clicking sounds as it moved. Next came the Mortani, who looked like walking crystals that glowed with inner light. The Vorthans resembled giant squids with tentacles that never stopped moving. Each species had ruled parts of the galaxy for thousands of years. Prime Speaker Kex Value raised one of its sharp arms for silence. When it spoke, its voice came through speakers built into the walls. "Humans of Earth," it said, "you have been granted the honor of joining the Galactic Council. We will now explain the terms of your membership." Elena stepped forward. "We look forward to discussing how we can work together for everyone's benefit." Several council members made sounds that might have been laughter. The Zephyrian's eyes focused on Elena like she was something small and unimportant. "There will be no discussion," Kex Value said. "For 3,000 years, the council has maintained peace and order. New species learn their place or face consequences." A floating screen appeared in the air, showing the terms of humanity's membership. Elena read them quickly, her face staying calm even as anger built inside her. "Earth will provide 40% of all rare earth minerals to the Council," the Zephyrian continued. "Human expansion will be limited to 12 star systems. All human technology must be shared with Council inspectors. Human genetic development will be monitored and controlled." Dr. Park stepped closer to Elena and whispered, "They're treating us like a conquered species." The Mortani representative's crystal body flashed brighter. "These terms are generous. The Calaxians gave us 60% of their resources when they joined." Elena looked around the chamber. "What do we get in return?" "Protection," said the Vorthan representative, its tentacles waving. "Trade rights in council space. The wisdom of older civilizations." General Martinez couldn't stay quiet. "Protection from what?" The Zephyrian made that clicking sound again. "From us, of course. Species that refuse council membership often face unfortunate accidents. Space is dangerous for those who travel alone." Elena felt her team tense behind her. This wasn't a negotiation. It was extortion dressed up as diplomacy. We came here hoping to join as equal partners, Elena said carefully. These terms sound more like surrender than membership. The council chamber filled with alien sounds, clicks, whistles, and electronic noises that Elena's translator couldn't interpret. She realized they were laughing at her. Equal partners? Keg's Value's voice carried clear amusement. Humans have barely left your home system. You have no significant military fleet. Your technology is primitive. Your lifespans are laughably short. What could you possibly offer us as equals? Elena felt heat rising in her cheeks, but she kept her voice level. Perhaps you should find out what humans can do before deciding we're worthless. The insectoid leader's multiple eyes narrowed. Threats? From a species that learned to travel between stars only 50 years ago. Not threats, Elena replied. Just a suggestion that assumptions can be dangerous. Minister Chun stepped forward with his economic data. Our analysis shows significant inefficiencies in council trade routes. Human logistics systems could improve shipping by 30% and reduce costs by silence. The Zephyrian's arm slammed down on its chair. We did not ask for your opinions or suggestions. You will accept these terms or reject them. Those are your only choices. Elena looked at each council member in turn. Their body language, despite their different forms, all showed the same thing. Arrogance, certainty, complete dismissal of humanity as anything more than a resource to be harvested. How long do we have to decide? She asked. You have until the end of this session, Keg's Value said. 1 standard hour. Elena nodded slowly. Then we request a brief recess to discuss this among ourselves. The Zephyrian waved dismissively. Use the small chamber behind you. Do not test our patience. Elena and her team walked to the side room. The moment the door closed behind them, Dr. Park exploded in whispered anger. They're treating us like barbarians. These terms are impossible. 40% of our minerals? Minister Chun shook his head. That would cripple Earth's development. General Martinez was already calculating. Their fleet position suggests they could blockade our shipping lanes if we refuse. Elena stood at the room's small window, looking out at the vast station. Ships came and went constantly, all following council rules, all paying council taxes, all bowing to council authority. They've done this before, she said quietly, to every species that's joined them. They wait until a civilization develops space travel, then force them into submission. So what do we do? Dr. Park asked. Elena turned around, and her team saw something in her expression that made them stand straighter. We give them an answer they're not expecting, she said. Elena Vasquez walked back into the council chamber with steady steps. Her team followed close behind, their faces showing the same calm determination that she felt. The 12 alien representatives waited in their massive chairs, confident that another species would submit to their will. Prime, Speaker Keg's Value's golden shell gleamed under the chamber's bright lights. Have you reached a decision, humans? Elena stopped at the center of the platform. She looked up at each council member in turn, meeting their various forms of eyes with her own steady gaze. We have, she said simply. The chamber fell silent. Even the constant hum of the station's machinery seemed to quiet. Elena could feel the weight of 3,000 years of galactic history pressing down on this moment. Humanity respectfully declines your offer. For several heartbeats, no one moved. Then the chamber erupted in alien sounds of shock and confusion. The Mortani's crystal body flashed between different colors. The Vorthan's tentacles writhed frantically. Several other council members made noises. Elena's translator couldn't interpret. Keg's Value's clicking became rapid and sharp. When it spoke, its voice carried disbelief. You decline? You refuse membership in the Galactic Council? That's correct, Elena said. We came here hoping for partnership and mutual respect. Instead, you offered us subjugation. We choose neither. The insectoid leader's multiple eyes focused on Elena with laser intensity. No species is ever refused. Council membership? Never. Not in 3 millennia. Then perhaps it was time someone did. General Martinez and the others began gathering their equipment and data tablets. The simple action of packing up seemed to shock the council members even more than Elena's words. Wait. The Galaxian representative, a being that looked like a cross between a tree and a snake, swayed forward. You don't understand the consequences. Species that exist outside council protection face terrible dangers. Elena continued watching her team organize their materials. What kind of dangers? Pirates. Hostile aliens. Natural disasters. The Galaxian's voice grew higher. Without council support, most civilizations collapse within a generation. Dr. Park looked up from his tablet. Funny. Humanity survived ice ages, plagues, wars, and nuclear weapons before we even knew you existed. I think we'll manage. The Zephyrian rose from its chair, its full height nearly 3 meters tall. You dare mock the council? We have maintained peace across 1,000 worlds for longer than your species has existed. Elena finally looked up at the towering alien. Peace built on fear and extortion isn't peace. It's just successful bullying. Kek's value shell began to vibrate with rage. Bullying? We offer protection, trade, knowledge. We share the wisdom of ages. You demand tribute, General Martinez said bluntly. 40% of our resources, control of our expansion, monitoring of our genetics. That's not protection. That's occupation. Minister Chun closed his tablet with a soft snap. Our economic analysis shows council trade benefits flow almost entirely upward to the founding species. Newer members provide resources and receive overpriced finished goods in return. The Vorthan's tentacles lashed angrily. Ungrateful primitives! We offer you the chance to join galactic civilization. Elena shouldered her bag and looked around the chamber one last time. This isn't civilization. It's a protection racket with fancy speeches. She turned toward the exit, but Kek's Value's voice stopped her. If you leave now, you cannot return. The Council's patience has limits. Elena paused without turning around. So does humanity's. We control the shipping lanes, the Zephyrian continued. The trade routes. The communication networks. No species survives alone in this galaxy. Watch us. The human delegation walked toward the chamber doors. With each step, the alien voices behind them grew louder and more frantic. This is madness, the Mortani called out. You'll doom your entire species. You have no fleet capable of defending yourselves. The Galaxian added. Your technology is centuries behind ours. Clicked Kek's Value. Elena stopped at the doorway and turned back one final time. You know what's interesting? You keep telling us how weak and primitive we are. Yet, you seem very upset about us leaving. The chamber fell silent again. Perhaps, Elena continued, you should ask yourselves why. The humans left the council chamber and walked through the station's corridors. Word of their rejection spread quickly among the alien staff and visitors. Elena could feel hundreds of strange eyes watching them as they made their way back to their shuttle dot at the docking bay. Their escort, the blue-skinned alien who had brought them in, waited nervously. The council wishes to offer you additional time to reconsider, it said through its translator. Tell the council thank you. But no, Elena replied politely. Our decision is final. The shuttle trip back to the human diplomatic ship was quiet. Dr. Park was the first to speak. That felt good, he said softly. It felt terrifying, Minister Chun admitted. Do you think we made the right choice? General Martinez was checking her communication device. Admiral Chun confirms all human ships are beginning withdrawal from Council space. Every trade post, every diplomatic station, every research facility. Full recall. Elena watched the massive Council station shrink behind them. We made the only choice we could live with. Over the next several hours, the human fleet gathered at the edge of Council space. 37 ships of various sizes, from small diplomatic vessels to massive colony transport craft. Not impressive by galactic standards, but every ship represented humanity's determination to forge its own path. Admiral David Chun, Elena's cousin, contacted them from the flagship. All human personnel evacuated from Council facilities, he reported. Trade agreements terminated. Diplomatic channels closed. We're officially on our own. Elena stood on the bridge of her ship, looking out at the human fleet. Behind them lay Council space with its ancient rules and rigid hierarchies. Ahead lay unknown space and uncertain futures. Any regrets? Dr. Park asked. Elena thought about the Zephyrians' arrogant clicking, the dismissive laughter of the Council members, the casual threats and demands for submission. Only that we didn't do this sooner. The fleet turned away from Council space and jumped to hyperspace. 37 ships carrying the hopes and dreams of an entire species, heading into the unknown rather than accepting chains disguised as protection. Behind them, emergency sessions were already beginning in the Council chamber. But the humans didn't look back. They had work to do. 3 months after humanity's departure, Prime Speaker Kex Value stood in the Council's Central Command Center, watching a galaxy slowly falling apart. The first problems had seemed minor. A few shipping delays here and there. Some minor technical glitches in communication systems. Nothing that couldn't be fixed with time and effort. The Council had even joked about it during their weekly meetings. Let the humans hide in their corner of space, the Vorthan representative had said. They'll come crawling back when they realize how much they need us. But the problems didn't stay minor. Kex Value's multiple eyes focused on the massive display. Screen showing galactic trade. Routes. Red warning symbols covered nearly half the map. The outer rim shipping lanes, which had run smoothly for decades, were experiencing constant delays. Cargo ships that should have completed their routes in standard weeks were taking months. Status report. Kex Value clicked at the Calaxian logistics coordinator, the tree-like being swayed nervously. The Vega to Centauri route is down to 30% efficiency. The Arcturus shipping hub reports critical delays in agricultural deliveries. And the entire outer spiral network. It paused. The entire network is on the verge of collapse. How is this possible? The Zephyrian demanded. These routes existed before humans even learned to fly. The coordinator's branches rustled with distress. The routes existed, yes. But over the past 30 years, human logistics firms had optimized everything. They redesigned the scheduling systems, improved the routing algorithms, created new maintenance protocols. Without their expertise, another alien, this one resembling a walking crystal formation, approached the display. It was Bright Mind Seeks Truth from the Mortani delegation. It's not just shipping, the Mortani said. Its crystalline body pulsing with different colors of light. Our quantum communication network is experiencing massive failures. Kex Value's shell began to vibrate with agitation. Explain. Human technicians maintained the quantum entanglement relays at every major communication hub. We thought they were just doing routine maintenance work. But apparently, they were also making constant micro-adjustments to keep the quantum fields stable. The Zephyrian's voice rose to a sharp clicking. Micro-adjustments? How difficult can micro-adjustments be? Bright Mind Seeks Truth's light dimmed. Our best quantum physicists have been trying to maintain the relays for 2 months. So far, we've lost connection with 47 star systems. 47? Kek's value's multiple eyes swiveled to focus on the Mortani. Why wasn't I told about this sooner? Because each species thought it was an isolated problem affecting only their territory, came a new voice. The council members turned to see Director Flowing Current brings wisdom. The Aquarian representative. The dolphin-like being rarely left its water tank. But today, it had activated its mobility suit to attend the emergency meeting personally. The agricultural systems are failing too, Flowing Current continued. The hydroponic farms that feed half the core worlds used human-designed nutrient mixtures. Without the precise formulations, crop yields have dropped by 60%. Kek's value felt a cold sensation spreading through its shell. Are you telling me that humans were involved in our food production? Not just involved, they revolutionized it. Their biochemistry knowledge was apparently far more advanced than we realized. They created new fertilizer compounds, designed better growing environments, even developed improved seed genetics. The Vorthan representative, its tentacles writhing anxiously, added its own disturbing news. Our mining operations in the Scorpius sector have shut down completely. The deep space excavation equipment requires constant calibration with human-designed diagnostic systems. Mining equipment can be repaired. Kek's value protested. Not this equipment, the Vorthan replied grimly. The humans designed new maintenance protocols that increased extraction efficiency by 300%. Without their diagnostic algorithms, the machinery keeps breaking down faster than we can fix it. Bright Mind Seeks Truth projected a holographic display showing resource flow throughout council space. Mineral extraction is down across all sectors. Food production is failing. Communication networks are collapsing. Transportation systems are grinding to a halt. What about our military forces? Kek's value demanded. Surely humans weren't involved in our defense systems. The silence that followed was deafening. Fleet Commander Hard Shell protects many. Another Zephyrian finally spoke up. Our FTL efficiency has dropped by 40% since the humans left. Impossible. Human mathematicians have been working with our navigation systems for years, Hardshell continued reluctantly. They claimed they were just helping with routine calculations. But apparently, they had optimized our jump algorithms far beyond our original capabilities. Kek's values world was crumbling. How long have humans been involved? In our critical systems? Director Flowing Current consulted its data display. From what we can determine, human involvement began slowly about 30 years ago. Small consulting contracts, minor technical assistance, gradual integration into larger systems. And we never noticed they were making themselves indispensable? They never presented it that way, Bright Mind Seeks Truth said. Each improvement seemed minor. Each optimization appeared to be just helpful suggestions from a junior species eager to contribute. The Calaxian coordinator swayed forward. Our analysis shows that humans had quietly become involved in 93% of council infrastructure. The number hit Kek's value like a physical blow. 93%. They planned this, the Zephyrian whispered. They deliberately made themselves essential, then withdrew to cripple us. Did they? Flowing Current asked. Or did we become dependent on their competence without realizing it? The command center fell quiet, except for the sound of failing systems sending error reports. Sir, a technician called out from across the room. We're receiving reports from the outer colonies. Several systems are questioning why they need to continue sending tribute to the Council if we can't maintain basic services. Kek's value's multiple eyes widened. Questioning tribute? The Rigel Confederation is asking why they should send 20% of their industrial output when Council shipping can't deliver medical supplies on time. The Tau Ceti Alliance wants to know why they're paying communication taxes when the quantum network keeps failing. More alarms began sounding. The holographic display showed red warning symbols spreading like infection across the galaxy. The Deneb Mining Consortium is threatening to declare independence, another technician reported. They say if the Council can't protect trade routes or maintain basic infrastructure, they'll find someone who can. Kex Value stared at the spreading chaos on the display. 3 months ago, the Galactic Council had ruled over 1,000 worlds with absolute authority. Now, their empire was collapsing because a single species had decided to leave. How did we not see this coming? The Zephyrian asked no one in particular. Bright Mind Seeks Truth's crystal body pulsed with a sad, dim light. Perhaps because we were too busy looking down on them to notice what they were actually doing. The command center's main alarm began blaring. On the display, another dozen star systems had gone dark. The emergency council session had been going for 6 hours straight. Prime Speaker Kex Value looked around the chamber at representatives from across the galaxy, all bearing the same expression of growing panic. Status report from the core worlds, Kex Value demanded. Fleet Commander Hard Shell Protects Many stepped forward, its golden shell noticeably dimmed. 15 more systems have declared independence in the past week. The remaining systems are demanding explanations for our inability to maintain basic services. The Mortani representative, Bright Mind Seeks Truth, projected new data into the center of the chamber. Our investigation into human integration has uncovered disturbing information. The holographic display showed a complex web of connections spanning the entire galaxy. Every major system, every important trade route, every critical piece of infrastructure had tiny human symbols embedded throughout. They weren't just helping with minor technical issues. Bright Mind Seeks Truth continued. Human involvement was systematic and comprehensive. They redesigned our power grid efficiency protocols. They optimized our medical diagnostic systems. They even improved our food preservation technologies. Director Flowing Current Brings Wisdom activated its mobility suit and moved closer to the display. Our marine biology stations relied on human-designed water purification systems. Without them, our aquatic colonies are experiencing massive die-offs. The Calaxian representative, Speaks for Growing Things, swayed forward on its root-like legs. It's worse than we thought. Human agricultural specialists had created hybrid crop strains specifically adapted to alien soil conditions. These crops were feeding billions across the Outer Rim. Are you saying they were feeding our people? Kex Value's voice rose to an angry clicking. They were making our food production sustainable, Speaks for Growing Things replied. Without their hybrid strains, crop yields have dropped below subsistence levels on 43 worlds. The Vorthan representative, its tentacles writhing anxiously, added more disturbing news. Our industrial complexes are shutting down. Human metallurgical processes had increased our alloy strength by 200% while reducing production costs. Our current output is insufficient to maintain even basic infrastructure. Kex Values. Multiple eyes focused on each council member in turn. How did we not know about any of this? Because they made it seem insignificant, Bright Mind Seeks Truth said. Each human contribution was presented as a small improvement to existing systems. A slightly better algorithm here. A minor efficiency enhancement there. Individually, none of it seemed important. But collectively? Collectively, they became the foundation of our entire civilization. The chamber fell silent as the implications sank in. The greatest military powers in galactic history had been quietly outmaneuvered by a species they considered primitive. Suddenly, alarms began blaring throughout the station. A technician rushed into the chamber. Prime Speaker. Long-range sensors are detecting massive energy signatures from human space. Every head, tentacle, and crystal formation in the chamber turned toward the technician. What kind of energy signatures? Kex Value demanded. Unknown, sir. The power outputs are unprecedented. Nothing in our databases matches these readings. Fleet Commander Hardshell quickly accessed the sensor data through its neural interface. Its shell began vibrating with shock. "These energy levels are impossible," it said. "No known technology can generate this much power." "Show us," Kexvalue ordered. A new holographic display appeared, showing the edge of human space. Massive energy blooms dotted their territory like brilliant stars. Each signature represented power generation far beyond anything the Council had ever seen. "How many sites are we detecting?" Flowing Current asked. The technician checked its data. 47 major signatures, with hundreds of smaller ones. The energy output from just one of these sites exceeds the total power generation of our largest stations. Bright Mind Seeks Truth's crystal body pulsed rapidly as it processed the information. "They're building something. Something enormous." "Industrial facilities," Hardshell said grimly. "They must be constructing massive manufacturing complexes." "Or shipyards," Dvorthan suggested, its tentacles curling with worry. Kexvalue felt ice forming in its thorax. "How long since they left Council space?" 8 months, sir." "And they've built industrial capacity that exceeds ours in 8 months?" "Apparently so." The chamber erupted in worried alien sounds. The implications were staggering. If humans could construct such massive facilities in less than a year, what else were they capable of? "There's more," the technician said nervously. "We're detecting new ship signatures moving between their systems. Large vessels using unknown propulsion methods." "Unknown propulsion?" Kexvalue's voice was barely a whisper. "Their energy signatures don't match any known FTL technology. They're moving faster than our best ships, and they're doing it without quantum tunneling or hyperspace manipulation." Director Flowing Current moved its mobility suit closer to the display. "Breakthrough propulsion technology. They've developed something completely new. In 8 months?" "Speaks for growing things," asked in disbelief. "Or they already had it and chose not to share it with us," Bright Mind Seeks Truth observed quietly. The terrible possibility hung in the air like a toxic cloud. Had humans been deliberately hiding advanced technology? Had they been pretending to be primitive while secretly developing capabilities that surpassed anything the Council possessed? "Sir," another technician called out, "we're receiving communications from our border stations. Unknown vessels are approaching Council space." The main display switched to show the edge of galactic territory. Dozens of new contacts were moving toward Council systems, ships that didn't match any known design in their databases. "Human ships?" Kexvalue asked. "We can't confirm, sir. The design is completely unfamiliar. They're not responding to our identification requests." Fleet Commander Hardshell accessed military protocols. "Should I order defensive positions?" Kexvalue stared at the display, watching the unknown ships approach. 8 months ago, humanity had been a minor species begging for Council membership. Now they possessed technology and industrial capacity that made the Council's greatest achievements look primitive. "Prime Speaker," Flowing Current said softly, "we need to consider the possibility that we misjudged humanity completely." "Misjudged them how?" "We assumed they were inferior because their technology seemed less advanced. But what if their technology was just different? What if they were holding back their true capabilities?" The Mortani's crystalline body dimmed as it processed the implications. What if they weren't asking to join us because they needed us? What if they were trying to help us because they felt sorry for us? The thought was so shocking that several Council members made involuntary sounds of distress. "That would mean?" Kexvalue couldn't finish the sentence. "That would mean we tried to subjugate a species that was already more advanced than us," Bright Mind Seeks Truth completed. "And now they're coming back." The unknown ships continued their approach, moving with casual confidence through space that had been dominated by Council power for 3 millennia. "What do we do?" Speaks for Growing Things asked. For the first time in its long life, Prime Speaker Kex Value had no answer. 1 year after humanity's departure from Council space, the impossible appeared on every sensor screen across the galaxy. Prime Speaker Kex Value stared at the main display in the Council's command center, its multiple eyes unable to process what they were seeing. The human fleet had emerged from hyperspace at the edge of Council territory, and it was magnificent. Hundreds of ships moved in perfect formation, vessels that dwarfed anything in the Council's navy. Each ship was sleek and powerful, covered in energy shields that glowed like miniature suns. They moved with a grace that made even the most advanced Council vessels look clumsy and primitive. Energy readings? Kex Value asked weakly. The technician's voice shook. Off the scale, sir. Each of their smallest ships generates more power than our largest dreadnoughts. At the front of the human fleet was a massive vessel that defied description. It was easily 10 times larger than the Council's flagship, its hull gleaming with unknown materials and unknown technologies. Incoming transmission, another technician reported. Put it through. The display switched to show a human face that Kex Value recognized. Admiral David Chun, the military leader who had overseen humanity's withdrawal from Council space. But he looked different now. More confident, more assured. Behind him, the bridge of his ship hummed with advanced technology. Greetings, Galactic Council, Admiral Chun said calmly. I am Admiral Chun of the Human Confederation. Fleet, we request permission to enter Council. Space for diplomatic discussions. Fleet Commander. Hard shell protects. Many shell was vibrating with nervous energy. Sir, our fleet is positioned to respond if they show hostile intentions. Kex Value looked at the tactical display. The Council's most powerful battle group was positioned between the humans and the core worlds. On paper, it should have been an impressive defensive force. But compared to the human ships, it looked like a collection of ancient relics. Granted, Kex Value finally managed to say, the human fleet moved forward with casual ease. As they passed the Council defensive positions, something remarkable happened. The human ship's energy shields briefly pulsed in greeting. It was a gesture of respect, not dominance. When the human flagship docked with the Council station, Admiral Chun arrived with a small delegation. Elena Vasquez was there, still serving as humanity's chief diplomat. Dr. Park and General Martinez flanked them, along with several other humans that Kex Value didn't recognize. But everything about them was different. Their uniforms were made from materials that seemed to shift and flow like liquid metal. Their equipment was compact and elegant. Most importantly, they carried themselves with the quiet confidence of a species that had discovered its true potential. The Council chamber had been hastily repaired after months of system failures, but it still showed signs of the chaos that had followed humanity's departure. Several of the massive alien chairs remained empty. Their species had declared independence, rather than endure the Council's collapsing infrastructure. Elena Vasquez walked to the center of the chamber just as she had a year ago. But now the balance of power was completely different. Hello again, she said simply. Kex Value found its voice. What do you want? Elena smiled, a genuine warm expression that somehow made the Zephyrian feel even more nervous. We want to talk. About what? About the future. Admiral Chun stepped forward, activating a holographic display that showed the current state of the galaxy. Red zones marked areas where Council authority had collapsed. Yellow zones showed systems teetering on the edge of independence. Only a small green area around the core worlds remained under firm Council control. The old system is failing, Chun said matter-of-factly. 1,700 worlds have declared independence in the past year. Trade has collapsed. Communication networks are breaking down. Entire sectors are cut off from galactic civilization. And you're here to gloat? Kex Value asked bitterly. We're here to offer an alternative, Elena replied. The holographic display changed to show a new map, one where trade routes flowed freely between all systems, where communication networks connected every inhabited world, where peaceful cooperation replaced enforced submission. The Galactic Confederation, Elena announced. A voluntary association of free worlds based on mutual benefit and shared prosperity. Director Flowing Current Brings Wisdom activated its mobility suit and moved closer. What would this confederation offer that the Council doesn't? Dr. Park answered, equality. Voluntary membership. Shared technology and knowledge. Protection through cooperation, not domination. And what would you get in return? Bright Mind Seeks Truth asked, its crystal body pulsing with curiosity. Elena looked around the chamber, meeting the gaze of each surviving council member. Friends instead of subjects. Partners instead of tribute payers. A galaxy where every species contributes according to their strengths and benefits according to their needs. The chamber fell silent. The offer was everything the council had never provided. Respect, equality, genuine cooperation. And if we refuse? Kex Value finally asked. Admiral Chun's expression remained calm. Then you continue as you are. We won't force anyone to join us. But the old ways are failing. Look around you. Half your member species have already left. The others are questioning why they need the council at all. As if on cue, another alarm sounded. A technician reported that 3 more systems in the Outer Rim had declared. Independence. Speaks dash for growing things, swayed forward on its root-like legs. What about the species that have already joined this confederation? Elena's smile widened. Why don't you ask them yourself? The display changed again, showing representatives from dozens of species, many of them former council members. They looked healthier, more prosperous, more confident than Kex Value remembered. A familiar voice spoke from the display. It was the representative from the Rigel Confederation, one of the first systems to break away from council control. The Human Confederation has kept every promise, the alien said. Trade is flourishing. Our people are well-fed. Our technology is advancing faster than ever before. And we're treated as equals, not as tribute-paying vassals. Other voices joined in, each telling a similar story. Systems that had been struggling under council rule were now thriving as part of humanity's confederation. How? Kex Value asked in a whisper. Elena's expression became serious. We learned from our mistakes. We saw how the council's approach created resentment and instability. We decided to try something different. What's different? We don't take tribute. We don't demand submission. We don't threaten anyone who doesn't want to join us. We simply offer our friendship and our help to anyone who wants it. Admiral Chun gestured to his fleet visible through the chamber's windows. Our ships aren't here to conquer or threaten. They're here to protect and assist. Every vessel in our fleet carries medical supplies, engineering equipment, and emergency aid. The display showed the inside of one of the human ships. It was indeed filled with humanitarian supplies rather than weapons. The choice is yours, Elena said. Join us as equals and help build something better. Or continue on your current path. Kex Value looked around the nearly empty council chamber. A year ago, it had been filled with representatives from 1,000 worlds. Now, only a handful remained. What happens to the council if we join this confederation? The council can continue to exist, Elena replied, as an equal member among many. Your species has thousands of years of experience in governance and diplomacy. That knowledge would be valuable in a confederation. For the first time since humanity had walked out of this chamber, Kex Value felt something other than panic and despair. It felt hope, We would be equals? The Zephyrian asked. Complete equals. And if we contribute more, we don't gain more power? Elena shook her head. Power shared is power multiplied. A confederation where everyone has a voice is stronger than an empire where only a few command. Around the chamber, the remaining council members looked at each other. The choice was clear. Join humanity's confederation as equals, or watch their empire crumble into nothing. Kek's Valu rose from its chair and, for the first time in millennia, bowed to another species. The Galactic Council accepts your offer, it said. And in that moment, the age of empire ended and the age of cooperation began.